Hello and welcome. Welcome to Becoming Her, the self-image shift. Self-image, one of my favorite topics to talk about. So I'm so excited to be able to share all the information that I've learned over a number of years of studying this material, applying this material, making mistakes, doing it over, relearning, and just forever growing. And I am just in love with the journey that I'm on. I'm in love with my life, and I am so honored to have the opportunity to share this information with all the women that have registered. It really is it's a pleasure to be here. And I feel like it's an honor because your time is valuable. And but I also feel like it's just so important that you're taking the time to make yourself matter and doing something for yourself and investing a moment of time in yourself. So the reward for doing that is lifelong. So, welcome. And before we get started, I want to have you take a moment to set an intention for our time together and just an intention for the workshop. Maybe what you would like to get out of it, maybe something you would like to release as a result of the workshop. I feel like something brought you here, something spoke to you about this topic, about the workshop. So something about it um, was speaking to you. So there's something in it for you, and you're meant to be here. You're in the right place. And if you registered, it's because it's meant for you. And so set that intention now. And with that, we'll just take a couple of deep breaths and just take a minute to, if you didn't already grab a notebook and write down your intention for the workshop. I'll just leave you a moment. Just some deep breaths in and out. And on the exhale, always exhale what is no longer serving you. So breathe in white light, breathe in good energy, breathe in faith, God, universe, source, whatever your higher power is. And then on the exhale, breathe out whatever no longer serves you. Any outdated beliefs, any old energies, any things that have you rattled or things that are still kind of spilling over from the day, let it go, let it be. And then with that, we'll get started. So, your self image really sets the thermostat for what you will accomplish, how you show up in the world, and you can't outperform your self image. So, think of it as a thermostat. So, if your self image is here, that's as high as your goals are going to go. That's as high as your achievements are going to go, your level of fulfillment, your happiness, your self love, everything. It's all going to cap off wherever your self image is set. You can't outperform it. But the good news is you can change it. Just like you can change a thermostat setting, you can change your self image. So, to just expand on that a little bit, your self image, if you think of it as a thermostat, that means you never quite show up any any um any level dramatically different from how you show up day to day. It's pretty consistent. Same with you, financial level. You probably don't really exceed a certain level, but you probably don't go far below a certain level either. It's all part of your self image. And today, my goal is to go over 5 steps that you can take starting tonight you can take to change your self-image. 5 steps. I'm going to keep it pretty clear, concise, and I'm going to make this meaningful. I will make it practical where there's steps you can take and there's really actionable things you can do on a day-to-day basis, starting tonight, starting when you wake up in the morning, whenever you make that decision to make a change. And that brings me to the first step, which is making a decision. When you make a decision, that's when change can begin. So, a decision means I've decided that I am changing my life. Not another day, not another minute am I going to live the way I'm living. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your life, but this is for the person, for the woman who is getting this nagging feeling that she has a greater purpose. It's for the woman who deep inside knows she's meant for more than she's doing. And I don't mean doing more. It's not about working harder. It's not about doing more, proving more validation from the outside world. It isn't about that. It's about making a decision that I know inside my heart, inside my soul, that I have a greater purpose, or that the life I'm living right now does not light me up and I want more for me. In this workshop, it's all about you. Maybe you want your relationships to be better. Maybe you want your career to be better. Maybe you want your finances to be better. That's all awesome. But that comes secondary. That's secondary to taking care of yourself and falling in love with yourself. So the decision, when you make that decision that I'm going to make a change in my life, that's the first step, a committed decision. And hold on, I'm going to cough again. I don't want you to have to listen to that. Okay. All right. I was literally choking. So when you've made that decision that you're not going to live this way any longer, I'm making a decision. Something's going to change today. So that's the first step, step one. The second step, which is to redefine what, no, I'm sorry, realign, I'm sorry, awareness. The second step is awareness. So you need to have awareness of your thoughts. What are you thinking about on a day-to-day basis? So if you've made this decision, that means some thoughts are creeping in that you know you're meant for more. But what's really controlling your life are those thoughts that are in the subconscious mind. So all the thoughts that are going on in your mind are creating your reality. They're creating your external results. So we have to be aware of what we're thinking about. And it sounds simple, but it's interesting because for the longest time, I was studying this material. I thought I was doing all the things, but still in my outside world, there seemed like there was chaos or there was drama or negativity. And I kept thinking, why though? Because lots of thoughts were getting by me, lots of thoughts in the subconscious mind, those old beliefs and those old patterns that have been there since we were kids. All of those internal thoughts, that internal dialogue is creating the outside results. So your day to day, your life, what things look like on the outside. So you have to have an awareness of what you're thinking about on a day to day basis. Now, we don't have time to dive into both the subconscious and conscious minds, but your subconscious mind controls 95% of what's going on in your life because those patterns, beliefs, or paradigms, as my mentor always called it, um, are controlling your reality. So the good news is you can change all that. And when you develop an awareness of your thoughts, you become the gatekeeper of what you allow into your mind. And it's so important to protect your mind. Protect what you consume. Protect what you listen to, protect the company that you allow into your world, protect what you're watching on the TV, what you're consuming in other people's gossip or complaining, because all of those things are coming and coming and coming in, and all those internal thoughts are creating your reality. So we really have to be aware. That's back to the awareness of what we are allowing into our brain. And it's if you think about our day-to-day life, sometimes you get up in the morning, you probably, probably, I can't speak for anybody, but for everybody, but you get up in the morning, you go brush your teeth, get in the shower, get ready for work, go here, do that, whatever it is, your day-to-day stuff. It's like getting in the hamster wheel. And that's all very routine, it's habitual. You can break that cycle and really change the actual neural pathways in your brain to create new pathways, new behaviors, new habits, which equals new reality. But you have got to be aware of what you're letting into your mind, what you're thinking about all day long. So I truly, 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 I challenge you to spend your day tomorrow really tuning into, hey, what am I thinking about? Because when I did this, it was amazing how much negativity was getting in there. Whether it was me thinking about it, whether it was me allowing it in by listening to complaining or listening to gossip, or I don't listen to the news at all anymore. I don't watch TV at all anymore, but I am just super protective of my own mind and what I let in. But that takes having an awareness. So we can't just coast through life and not be aware of what we're consuming. And it's really actually fun, and it is life changing. So that's step two, awareness. Now, once you've developed an awareness and you start paying attention to your thoughts and you start noticing some of the things you're thinking about, the next step is to redefine. Redefine what's important to you. A lot of times I will talk about success redefined. So, redefining success for you, it's personal, it's all about what's important to you. Um, for a long time, I thought success was more degrees, it's getting married, it's a promotion, it's how much money you make, it was I thought it was all the external stuff. It was checking boxes. And then I looked up and it was like on paper, everything looks right, but something's missing. And those are the women I feel like I'm attracting to me because that's what I love to teach. And those are the women that I love to help. Because if you're getting that subtle whisper that, gosh, I've done everything right. Everything looks good on paper, but something is off. I feel like I'm meant for more. I feel like I have a greater purpose. And if you're getting that feeling, it's because you are and you do. You are meant for more and you do have a greater purpose because we're not put here on this earth for mediocrity, or we're not just put on this earth to survive. We're put here for greatness. We're meant for greatness. And that's what I help women truly, truly at their core understand, and not only understand it theoretically or on paper, but really believe that in your heart, in your soul, you understand your worth. It's not about validating yourself to anybody else. Because when you know who you are inside, everything on the outside changes. So the world will believe about you what you truly believe about you. So think about that for a moment. I'm going to say it again. So the world will believe about you what you truly, truly believe about you, not what you claim to believe, or not what you've convinced yourself you believe, what you truly, truly believe inside, because you cannot fool the subconscious mind. It knows everything. And when you shift how you feel about yourself internally, everything in your world will change. Your relationships, your career path, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a traditional career path. Maybe you are heading towards a greater calling. Maybe you have something that's been speaking to you for a long time that you've been wanting to do, but something's holding you back. That's your subconscious mind and all those old patterns getting in the way. So when you really become aware of what you're thinking about, and then allow yourself to redefine what's really important to you, things will start to change. Because when you change on the inside, everything else changes. It all begins with you. So it's sounds like a lot that, oof, all of this is, to sound negative, everything's my fault. Not that it's your fault, but that you are accountable for everything in your world, which also allows you to make the change. So make the change inside to change your life. And it's possible. And it is not only possible, but it's almost instantaneous that you can make these changes and just start showing up differently. But you really have to get crystal clear on what is important to you. What does success mean to you? It can be the traditional things that, people often come back to, jobs or finances. All those things can be part of it, but there's other things that are personal to you and only you, what you want your relationships to look like, what you want your career to look like, what you want your day-to-day routine to look like, what you want your health to look like. There's so many pieces to the puzzle that have to be taken into account as to what is success? What does success really mean to me? So ask yourself that question. And if you had a chance to get the workbook before the workshop, not the workshop, there was a little worksheet before the worksheet for the workshop. I can't say that too many times. Um, and when you start to redefine what success really means to you, you start to let go of the outdated beliefs about what success was. You get rid of the outdated versions that somebody taught you were the important things that you should want, or that in order to be successful, you need to do, or you should do. And then you do all the things and you wonder why you're just not feeling happy, or why I'm not fulfilled. And that's what was happening to me. So, redefining. The next step, the fourth step, realigning. So realign yourself with the actions and behaviors that are true to your authentic self. So realigning with the things that matter to you. So being authentic. And really, it's about blending step 4 with step 3, where you are realigning your actions and behaviors to match the actual things that are important to you. So under realigning, things like asking yourself, why am I doing a certain thing? Is it because I feel called to do it, or am I doing it because society or whatever it is taught me that's what I was supposed to do? And why am I doing something that I don't feel like doing? Why am I saying yes to something that I really didn't want to do? Why am I saying yes when I meant no? Why do I not have boundaries? There's nothing wrong with setting clear boundaries that honor your values. So, personal integrity really means keeping your word to yourself. So, when you realign, you're realigning, and realigning, you have to realign with something. And what that something is your whole self, all about you. This is a time when you're really going inside and honoring your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own ideas, and you're shutting out the outside noise. Because for so long, as women in particular, we tend to take on all the outside problems as caregivers, caretakers, people pleasers, and we just constantly take all that on, and we forget to honor ourselves, and we forget. For me, I forgot who I even was. I forgot what I liked to do. I forgot, um, I didn't have any boundaries. I was just a people pleaser. And that somewhat comes with, I think, being a woman, we kind of have this natural tendency to take care of people, but, and that's a beautiful thing. But first, you have to take care of yourself, because when you start taking care of others, and you haven't taken care of yourself first, you probably heard this a million times, but you're pouring from an empty cup, and it leads to resentment, and it doesn't end well. And I think when you actually recognize that self care is important, that it's not a luxury, it's a necessity, you will start to take care of yourself better. And when you do that, when you take care of yourself and you have that personal integrity and you honor yourself and your own needs, you show up better for the people that matter. So for me, that was my son. Um, he's 19 now, but there was a period of time where I wasn't showing up powerfully. I wasn't showing up as the greatest version of myself. I wasn't showing up as the mother that I wanted to be. And at one point, somebody said to me, um, what you don't fix in yourself, you pass along to your child. And that to me was like a gut punch, because I wasn't showing up in a way that was powerful and confident and strong. And I didn't want him to pick up on all of that. I was telling him, you can do anything you put your mind to. You can be, do, and have anything you want. But I wasn't doing that. And the example is so much more powerful than the words. And so that was a really um, transformational moment for me, because I knew I needed to start doing things differently. And that was when my decision got made. It was really, it sticks out in my mind. And I tell the story all the time because it was just such a powerful statement. So I always share it because it's so true. Um, so back to step four is realigning, getting really clear on what are the actions that are in alignment with my values and what's important to me and what I defined as being important in the previous step. How can my actions really align with that to bring that closer to me and to make that a reality in my life? Um, and then the final step is to rise. And by that, I mean showing up as the greatest version of yourself. And who is that? What does that look like to you? So, having gone through all five steps, the final step would look different to each woman that is here. Um, what I picked up on most through a lot of the responses, I had sent out an email asking about what are you hoping to get out of this, or what was it about the workshop that spoke to you? And a very common theme amongst everybody was my life looks good on the outside, but I'm unhappy. And it's such an interesting thing. But that theme was very common. But what leads to the actual happiness for each one of those women that answered is going to be very different. So that's where this workshop takes you individually through it. And if you write down, literally put pen to paper on each step, what does that look like for you? You get to this final step, rise. So showing up as the greatest version of yourself, the woman at the place where you've figured it out. You know what success means to you. You know what you want to be doing. You know what you want your relationships to look like. You know what that greater purpose is, or you may not know that. Sometimes that comes in time. Um, but at least you're having an idea of what parts of your life are not lighting you up, what parts of your life are currently lighting you up. That in itself is a huge distinction. Geez, what are some of the things I'm doing on a day-to-day basis that absolutely drain me? But on the flip side of that, what are some of the things that I'm doing on a daily basis that actually fuel me? And if you don't think about it, so this comes back to awareness. If you don't really think about these things, you just go through your day, but you don't realize it. Like at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Sometimes wouldn't even remember what you did that day. Somebody say, "Hey, what'd you do today?" I don't know, but I was super busy. And it's like, hmm, what was I doing today? And when I really started to pay attention to it, I realized one of the things that would light me up was watching my son play basketball, but certain things that I was doing on a regular basis would literally drain me. And it's those people pleasing tendencies when you do things for the wrong reason. So it's once you've decided all that, that rise, showing up this greatest version of yourself, get crystal clear on who she is, the version of you. You've reached your definition of success. You've the wish fulfilled. The relationships are as you want them to be. The career is as you want it to be. Who is she? Who is that person? Who is she? It's so fun to figure out. And it's different for everybody, but things to consider. How does she walk, talk, dress? Now, this is all you. This isn't about becoming somebody else. It's actually a remembering. Actually coming back to who you are, always were on the inside. I put it at the bottom of the worksheet. I forget how the exact quote, but so it's not about creating a new version of yourself. It's about remembering who you've always been before everybody in the outside noise taught you differently, who you are on the inside. So when I say becoming her, it's not about becoming somebody else. There can be qualities in another woman that you admire. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Incorporate that into your new self-image script. Self-image script. You write it all out. Who is she? Who is the woman? Who are you, the woman, with the wishes all fulfilled, with success has been redefined and achieved? Who is that woman? So, like I said, things to consider. How does she walk, talk, dress? How does she enter a room? How does she handle conflict? How does she interact with her children if you have children? How does she interact with her spouse or significant other if you have one? If you don't have a partner or significant other, spouse, but you would like to, it all comes back to loving yourself first. You can't attract love if you don't love yourself. You can't attract something that you are not. You get back what you put out. And it sounds cliche, but it is proven. And it's scientific, science backed through studies that you attract what you are. And it's like a mirror. So if you don't love yourself, if you are self loathing and you have no self respect, or you don't really have any self love, you can't attract that high quality person who's got also the ability to love you back. You attract what you are. So if you are looking for love in your life, start with yourself. Start on the inside, start with self-love. Everything starts on the inside. And please, if you take away nothing else from this workshop, take with you that it all starts with you on the inside. All the change in the outside world starts on the inside. Be the change you want to see in the world. It all starts inside. And these 5 steps are just a nice, concise way of organizing your thoughts and just putting it on paper. When you put pen to paper, you start to embody the material a little bit further, because attending is great. Writing, filling out the worksheet is fantastic. But what really seals the deal is when you actually start practicing this in your day-to-day life. When you start showing up differently, it can be small, subtle changes, but when you really get clear on what we've talked about today, and then you write out your self-image script, who do I need to be? All those things that we were just talking about. How do I walk? Head up, shoulders back. That says that you're confident. Make eye contact. It says you're confident. Compliments to other women means you're confident. In shoulders back, you want to um, enter a room in a way that you know you're content on the inside. It's not about, will everybody in the room like me? Because you like you. So therefore, just being there, you're happy and content. You have that sort of, when you show up in that way, people will be drawn to you versus you wondering if people are interested in talking with you, because that won't even cross your mind. Um, but other things in your self-image to think about is your health. How does she eat? How does she fuel her body or her vessel so that it can be vibrant and just full of vitality? Whether it's your energy level, your skin, your hair, you want your vessel to carry you through a long life, for as long as it's meant to be, doing what you want to be doing. And that all comes with being in tune to your health and making things that are important to you a priority. So how would she eat, drink, exercise? And that doesn't mean you have to go to the gym, but what would you add into your life to feel a little more vibrant and to improve your vitality? Maybe it's just even walking in nature. Just a few minutes in nature can change everything. It really can change your energy. And when your energy changes, you're vibrating at a different frequency. Um, and that's a whole nother lesson, which I love getting into, but I know, let's see where we are time-wise. Okay, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Um, your frequency is, based on where your where your emotions and think, for example, someone that's walking through life experiencing shame and guilt, they're vibrating at one of the lowest frequencies. Whereas somebody that is happy, excited, those people are vibrating at a much higher frequency. Those individuals are going to attract different things into their life. They're going to attract different opportunities, experiences, people, very different. So remember what we talked about in the beginning. You attract what you put out there. So you want to be sure what you're putting out there is going to um, attract what you want. So if your internal thoughts, your internal dialogue, those internal conversations are creating your reality, you want to be crystal clear on what you're thinking about and where your energy level is. Where are you? What is your frequency and where are you vibrating? Because you want to be vibrating up here so that you can attract all the best into your life, the best people, experiences, opportunities. So when you change inside, the outside world changes along with you. You won't really even, the outside world will know something's different. They'll know that you're doing something different. They won't know what it is, but you'll know, they'll feel it and you'll feel it because people will be more drawn to you and you will feel better. You will feel more in control of your emotions, of your thoughts, of your just life in general will feel steady. You don't get rattled by the mundane little things that go on throughout a day, whether it's traffic or it's whatever, something somebody else said, or because you're just on a different frequency because you get all your fulfillment from inside. You don't get your validation, you don't get your happiness, you don't get any of that from the outside world. That's all just noise. So, this is the big takeaway. Remembering the 5 steps, make a decision. Something's going to change. I'm going to change my life. I want more for me. And with that, my outside world's going to change. Step 2, awareness. You need to be the gatekeeper of what you are consuming into your mind. And be cautious and guard it with your life because it matters. And it's something we can control. And we don't have to be just passive bystanders absorbing everything that's thrown at us. We get to choose. And just because somebody once had access to you and to, you know, share all their bad energy and complaints, just because somebody once had access to you, they doesn't mean they always get to have access to you. And that's actually interesting. As you start to change, people may fall off the grid, and that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be messy, ugly, or anything, but you'll find you may just not be vibrating or meshing with people that you once did as you start to elevate and change your self-image because you're attracting different things. What's meant for you will remain with you. So the people that are meant to be in your life, they're going to rise with you. They're going to rise just because you're rising. As you're doing the work, they come along for the ride. And if they don't, they are going to naturally fall off the grid. It's almost like they'll be repelled by you, you're repelled by them. It's not even messy or ugly. You just kind of don't mesh anymore. So then redefine. The next step is figuring out what truly is important to you, getting crystal clear on it. Relationships, health, career, what does success mean to you? And then realigning your actions and behaviors with what's important to you, realigning your actions and behaviors to your own values. So having personal integrity. Personal integrity is keeping your word to yourself, being authentic, and so your actions match your inner thoughts. They're not different, they're the same. When they're not the same, that's when conflict happens. And within ourselves, when you're behaving differently than you're thinking, conflict. It's just so when you're authentic, you're acting and behaving in a way that matches the inner thoughts. And it's a great feeling. It's a very peaceful, freeing feeling. Um, and then the final stage is rising. So that is showing up as the greatest version of yourself, the version of you who has determined what success means to her. And she's living that and showing up as that version of herself. So, a few things that sometimes get people caught up, and somebody actually sent a question, and I won't share certainly the person, but it's actually a very common question, and it's actually a very common I don't want to say glitch, but it's something that gets in the way for many women, and it got in the way for me. So I feel very comfortable talking about this. But your past doesn't define your future. So your past doesn't define where you're heading. That's why it's in the past. Your past is meant to teach you. Your past is part of the path, but your past is meant to, it was meant for you. So anything in your past that once made you feel small is actually your superpower. Anything in your past that has once made you feel less than, or in your past that made you feel like you don't deserve more because of X, Y, and Z, if that's something that's crossed your mind, that's something I would help you. You can certainly reach out personally to me, but that's something to journal on and a bless and release. It's what that is journal on it. What is the experience that seems to be hanging around and you keep putting it on like a jacket? And you're carrying it with you and it's keeping you small. And that's not what the past is meant to do. It's part of your journey and it's meant to catapult you forward. It's meant to give you lessons. It's meant to make you stronger. It's building you up for your purpose. And a lot of people, when they are trying to figure out their purpose, I often encourage them to go back to some of their toughest times because that often leads people to their purpose. And I really feel like a past event or experience that is keeping you small wasn't meant to keep you small. It was meant to grow you, strengthen you, teach you, and lead you somewhere else down a different path. And we are actually most qualified to help the person we used to be. So if the person you used to be was somebody who was playing small and had no confidence, and now you have confidence, you can help somebody else get there. If you were somebody that was drinking heavily and now you're not, you can help someone else who is now in that place of drinking heavily. You just need to be a little bit further ahead. And when you look back, you see you have something to offer. So don't let a past keep you playing small. It's meant to grow you. So remember that your past does not define or determine your future. We're not meant to play small. You're not meant to dim your light. And you shining bright doesn't um, darken somebody else. You brighten somebody else. You give other people permission to shine. If I could find it right here, I would bring out that Marianne Williamson quote, but I don't have it right here. So, but it's beautiful, and but it's along those lines. You know, who are you not to shine? And I think that's so important to remember and to recognize. Remember who you are on the inside, not what everybody else has taught you to be, told you to be. That's report card syndrome. You got a B, so therefore you're a B student. You're labeled as a B student. You stay a B student for the rest of your life. It's labels. It's the traditional way of thinking, and I'm asking you to be open to a different way of thinking. I'm asking you to give yourself a chance to matter, give yourself the grace to forgive any mistakes or things you wished you had done differently. Don't even wish that, because it taught you something, and find the beauty in it. I've learned to do that very well because I've made a lot, a lot of mistakes along the way. And that's what got me to this very place right here. For those who don't know me, I didn't want to spend much time talking about myself at the beginning because I just wanted to get into the material. But for those of you here who don't know me, and there are some people that I don't know well, but I'm a nurse practitioner by trade. Um, and through a series of dark events in my life, I was introduced to personal development. And my son, being my major why I wanted to show up better, led me down this journey of just constantly growing and learning. And in the end, I did leave my career at the hospital to open my mentoring service company, Sarmento Mentoring Services, where I coach women to do all these things that I'm teaching here. I have one-on-one coaching and group coaching. My group coaching program is a 3-month program where I walk you through these concepts. Of course, we dive in way deeper to all of it, but it's truly transformational. It's transformed my life. So anybody here that this speaks to you, you want to have a conversation, you have questions, concerns, anything at all, I want to hear from you. I encourage everybody here that's registered to book a free consult. Um, I'm going to send out an email with the replay. There'll be a link to watch the replay for those who are not here live. I'm glad you're catching the replay. And for those who are here live, thank you. But watch this again, because what happens when you watch something over again is you pick up on different things. You'll hear something completely different. You'll hear something that you didn't hear at all the first time. It'll land differently. But it's like reading a book. When you read the same book, like a couple years later, you're a different person. So it feels like a different book. But that's what happens when you if you attended live, still watch the replay, I guarantee you will pick up on some different things. But along with that replay email, we'll have an opportunity to book a call. It's a free consultation. We can chat about anything at all about this material, how I can help you, how I can serve you, and how I can help you to get to that version of yourself that you know is inside, and that little whisper that we ignore all too often. I want you to hear it loud and clear. The message is meant for you, not for anybody else. So don't quiet the whisper. Close out the outside noise and do what your heart and soul are calling you to do. And one other thing that's been huge for me is the role that believing in a higher power has meant, the role that that has played for me, having faith in a higher power and trusting in the higher power and trusting in the process. For me, it's God, but it does not have to be. It can be God, source, universe, spirit. It's whatever speaks to you. But for me, believing in a higher power has allowed me to detach a little from the outcome and trust the process. Because one thing I've learned is that my way isn't always the best way. So when I try to focus on how something major is going to happen, it doesn't always work out. So the how isn't your business. Your business is to go inside and listen. Listen to your intuition, trust the process. When you get the little intuitive hits, or feel a little divinely guided to take a step, you take the next step. The steps will be laid out as you go. Each step will be delivered as you move forward in faith, forward with trust that it's working out in your favor. I choose to believe that I am always divinely guided in my decision, in my words. Even for a workshop like this, it comes out differently every single time. The workshop is different because it's just all from within my heart. It's from um, just what I feel guided to speak about. And that's a powerful piece of all this work, is trusting the process and not getting caught up in the how it's going to happen. So I welcome any questions. I would love to hear from you. And that email will go out later this evening to share the replay and also to give you the opportunity to book a call. But I would love to speak with you. And I am so thankful for you being here. And I hope it's been helpful. And I hope there's been some big takeaways. But if you didn't already get to peek at the worksheet for the workshop, uh, do that. That was in the email that was sent about 1 hour before this call started, but it's a nice place to start putting pen to paper and start putting some of these thoughts in writing and have fun with it. Have fun with it. It's not serious. It's not meant to be serious. It's just light and go with it and trust where your mind takes you. So thank you again for being here. I'm honored. I am grateful. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a fantastic night or day or whatever time of day it is, because we have people from all over the world here right now. So that's super exciting. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.